Hey guys, this is Eliza from DUSK Reads and welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be doing my April TBR. In the month of April there is the OWLs ReadAthon, the Harry Potter themed readathon run by Book Roast here on YouTube. So I'll leave all the links to that down below. I will be participating and that goes for the entire month of April. Outside of the readathon, like the books I'm reading for the readathon, I have one book, so I will share that one now. I couldn't fit it into a category, but I need to read it this month. So the book I'll be reading, not for the readathon in April, is Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schult. This is the book of the month for the YA Book Nerds, the Facebook group I run, so I need to read it to create the discussion questions. Pretty keen, it sounds really interesting, and I like the cover. There's like a lot of detail in these crowns. It's very nice. But yeah, that will be first book I'm reading outside of the readathon. So now onto the readathon. So if you didn't know, the OWLs readathon for this round, basically you have a prompt for every subject that you can take at Hogwarts and you have to read a book for each prompt. Optionally you can choose a career that you are working towards, and for each career you need to have a specific subject in school. So they're the subjects that you're going to complete. I've chosen Magizoologist. So the subject you have to complete for Magizoologist is Care of Magical Creatures, Charms, Herbology and Potions, but I will be aiming for other subjects as well. I'll just try and do as many as I can basically, but those will be the 4 ones that I read first and will be my main priority. So I'll leave a link to, as I said, everything down below, but I'll also leave a link to the document where you can find all of the careers, so you can go on and see what subjects you need to complete for what career. I'm pretty sure the career part is optional. You can choose to just, you know, pick subjects, but it's another added thing that sounds really interesting, so I'm going to try and do it. So I'll start off with the subjects that I have to do for Magizoologist. So first is Care of Magical Creatures, and for that challenge you have to read a book with a land animal on the cover, and for this one I've chosen Wolf by Ryan Gordon. This is a World War II based historical fiction, and as you can see it has a wolf on the cover, so it fit. I've been wanting to read this one for a fair while. I love World War II historical fiction, so it seemed appropriate, and it has a wolf. And I don't actually have that many books on my shelf that have animals on the covers, so this was one of them and I chose it. So this is a historical fiction that's kind of based around not World War II itself but around Hitler. So I'll just read the description as that's the easiest way, as really there's no other way to describe it. It says, Germany 1956, over 10 years since the Nazis won the war. 17-year-old Yale, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, is part of the resistance and she has just one mission, to kill Hitler. But first she's got to get close enough to him to do it. So yes, and also 1956 is the year my father was born, so interesting facts. So the next subject for Magizoologist is Charms, and for that one you need to read an adult book. So for this one I chose The Bedlam Stacks by Natasha Pulley. This one I picked up on a whim in a book sale when I was away with a mate of mine, and it sounded interesting. It's a historical fiction, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, and the cover is really nice, and this bit here actually folds out and it looks like that on the inside. This is an adult book. It's one of the only ones on my shelves that I really feel like picking up, and it's also one of the shorter ones. This is only just over 300 pages, whereas most of the adult books I have are like 500, 600, which isn't ideal for a readathon. So yeah, but I'll be picking up this one. I don't know much about it. I know it's historical, set in Peru, 1859. So that is the book I will be reading for Charms. So the next subject is Herbology, and for this one you need to read a book with a plant on the cover, and for this I have chosen The Song Rising by Samantha Shannon. It has a flower on it. I don't have that many books with plants on the cover. It was really hard to find. I have one book that has ivy, leaves on it, but that was it. So I decided to choose this. I really need to get to it. It's been so long since I read The Bone Season. I'm gonna have to go and read an overview of the last 2 books, because it's been so long since I read The Bone Season and The Mime Order. I think it was not last year, the year before. That's how long it's been. So yeah, but I will be picking this one up. So the next challenge is Potions, and for that one you need to read a sequel. For this one I chose This Cruel Design by Emily Suvada. This is the second book to This Mortal Coil, which I absolutely loved last year, I think it was. This Mortal Coil is a dystopian, a very unique, kind of dark, kind of fucked up dystopian, and this is the second book to that. So I'm keen, I'm curious. I'm very curious, but I'm also scared, because As I said, fucked up. Like very fucked up. Okay, so those are the 4 books I'll be reading for the Magizoologist career, but besides that, we'll just move on to all the other subjects. I've chosen a book for each subject, and I've tried to pick books that I have on my physical TBR because I really need to get through that, but some of them I just quite simply couldn't find anything on my TBR that fitted, so I do have, I think, 2 audiobooks and a ebook, but let's just jump into everything else that isn't for the Magizoologist. So first we have Ancient Runes, and for this one you need to read a retelling. So I have chosen This Monstrous Thing by Mackenzie Lee. This is I think it's Frankenstein. Yes, it is a Frankenstein retelling. I really wanted to read something from Mackenzie Lee that isn't The Gentleman's Guide, and I decided to pick this one up, and it fits because it is a retelling of Frankenstein, so it works. And that's also all I know about it. I don't know anything else. So the next subject is arithmancy, and for this one you have to read a book with more than one author. So for this one I've chosen The Wicked plus the Divine Volume 7. This is the next one I'm up to, and this has 4 authors. I can't remember their first names, but the last names are Gillian, McKell, I don't know, Wilson and Cowles. Yeah, this is a series I've been working on. I just recently read Volume 5 and I'm about to pick up Volume 6 for another readathon that is currently happening. I love these. The artwork is gorgeous. I'm trying to find a page that just like shows the artwork well. But yeah, the artwork is just stunning and it's really colourful. Like everything is so colourful in these books, except for that random page of completely black. Anyways, Wicked plus the Divine, Volume 7, 4 authors, fits challenge. So the next challenge is astronomy, and for this one you have to read a book with star in the title, like the word star. So I chose Ruin of Stars by Lindsay Miller. It is stars, but counting, don't care. It's the only book on my TBR that has star in the title. So I was lucky I had this one, really. I've been keen to read this one. This is the second book to Mask of Shadows, which I read last year? Was it last year or the year before? No, I think it was last year. And I really enjoyed. But I did want to reread it. So depending on how I'm going for time, I may reread Mask of Shadows before I pick this one up. Because I did read Mask of Shadows on audiobook. And while I love audiobooks, I don't retain as much information from audiobooks as I do from physically reading, so I want to like a recap before I pick up this one. But yeah, Ruin of Stars, star in the title. I might pick up Mask of Shadows. We'll see what happens. So next we have Defense Against the Dark Art. So for this one the challenge is Reducto, and you have to read a book that starts with R, and for this one I've kind of slightly cheated maybe. A Reaper at the Gates. Obviously it starts with A Reaper at the Gates, but I have one other book that starts with R and I really don't want to read it. Like, I don't know why. I bought it. I wanted to read it, but it's just, right now I'm like, I don't want to read that. So I'm going with this one instead. So yeah, Reaper at the Gates by Sabatahir. This is the third book to A Torch, wait, what's the first book called? Is the first book A Torch Against the Night? No, An Ember in the Ashes. The second book is A Torch Against the Night. But yeah, I've been meaning to read this one for ages. I did try listening to it on audiobook. I started rereading An Ember in the Ashes, A Torch Against the Night, and I was going to read this one. But as I was rereading, I kind of discovered that I didn't actually like An Ember in the Ashes as much as I originally thought I did. So I think what I'm going to do is just read a series overview for the first 2 books and then just jump straight into this one. If I don't like it, I don't like it and I'll DNF it, but I want to try and I want to get it off my TBR, and if I DNF it then I will unhaul it and take it off my TBR. Also, maps. I love maps. So the next subject is divination, and for this one you have to choose a book set in the future, and for this one I've chosen, I'm sorry if you can hear birds in the background, I can't really do much about birds. Dry by Neil Shusterman and Jared Shusterman. This one is a dystopian set in, I read somewhere when it said, apparently this is set in the future. I can't remember where I found that information. But yeah, this is a book about a drought, which I thought was convenient because we have been in a drought. We're still in a drought, but also out west has gotten a shit ton of rain over the last 2 days, which is fucking amazing. But anyways, drought, dry, yeah, set in the future. Interesting, and I loved Scythe by Neil Shusterman, so I wanted to read more of his stuff, but this one is actually by him and Jared Schusterman, which I think is his son. So the next subject is a history of magic, and for this one you need to read a book that was published at least 10 years ago. So for this one I chose Murder in Mesa something, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, by Agatha Christie. This is the 14th book in the Hercule Poirot series. I've been slowly making my way through these and I've been listening to them on audiobook. I really love the narrator. I can't remember what his name is. I'll try and put it on the screen. There is 2 different narrators for the book, the Agatha Christie books that I've found, but this guy that I really like does the Poirot one. I've been slowly making my way through the series. These were obviously published more than 10 years ago. They were published a long time ago. So the next subject is Muggle Studies, and for this one you need to read a contemporary. So for this one, as I don't have any contemporaries, I had to find one on ebook. I literally do not own a contemporary that I have not read. There's that. I chose Dear Martin by Nick Stone. This one is on ebook and I will be reading it on Scribd. And it's contemporary, and it's a book that I really wanted to read anyway because it is about, like, based on the Black Lives Matter movement, which same as like The Hate U Give, and I've been meaning to read it for ages, just haven't got around to it. It's contemporary, so it fits, and I wanted to read it, so there's that. So the last subject is Transfiguration, and for this one there's 2 options for challenges. The first one is to read a book with sprayed edges. However, the only books on my TBR that have sprayed edges is a series, and I did start it, the first book, and I DNF'd it, so I won't be picking that one up, and that's the only one I have with sprayed edges that I haven't read. So the other option is to read a book with a red cover. So for this one I've chosen Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. This one I'll be listening to on audiobook. I have it on Scribd. I've been meaning to listen to this one for a while because I have read other works by Julie Kagawa and I was curious, so, and it's got a really nice cover, and it's red, so it fits. So that is all the books that I plan to read for the ReadAthon, and also for the YA Book Nerds Book of the Month. But I do have a couple other books that I'm going to put on here as a very, like, if I have time I will get to these, but I highly doubt I will have time to get to these. So they are all e-arcs that I have through NetGalley that I haven't got around to. I was in a reading slump and then, you know, but I need to get to them. So I'm just reading off my computer because I don't necessarily know the names of all these. Well, not the names of the books, the names of the art, or the names of the author. I was going to say the name of the artist. So the first one is The Flower Girls by Alice Clark Platts. I don't know anything about it. I also have Light Years by Cass Morgan. I have read The 100 by Cass Morgan. While I enjoyed the first book in that one, I haven't read the rest of them, but I did really enjoy the TV series for The 100, but I've watched that before I read the book, so there were some differences, but I really enjoyed the TV show to begin with. Then I have Blood Heir by Amelia Wenzao. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's a YA fantasy, that's all I know. And then Vivatira or Vivatira, I'm not sure how to pronounce the title of this one, but it's by Candace J. Johnson. YA fantasy, I'm pretty sure. That's all I know about it. Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. This one I've been hearing hype about everywhere, and I got a proof for it on NetGalley Fantasy, I think. That's about all I know. And then the last one is The Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston. This is like a companion type sequel to I'm having a mind blank. Geekerella. I really enjoyed Geekerella. It was like a fun contemporary and it's LGBT+. I literally just got accepted for that one today, so it's not high on priority list as... Actually it is, because it comes out in April. Damn. I only got approved for that today and it comes out the 2nd of April. How did they expect me to read that before the date? Anyways, oh well. We got that one. So they're the ebooks that I hopefully may read one of 2 of them. I don't know. We'll see. I really need to, but I couldn't fit any of those into the challenges. Actually, I could fit The Princess and the Fangirl into that because it's a contemporary. I just have to get rid of Dear Martin to fit that one in. But yeah, the other 3 don't fit into any of the challenges, unfortunately. I tried, but I couldn't. The other 5, sorry. I tried. I couldn't. Would you get off my face? Anyway, so yeah, that is all the books that I plan / hope to read in April. That is a very ambitious TBR. How many books are on my TBR? There is 13 books on my TBR plus 6 e-arcs that are like hopefuls. So it's a little bit ambitious. I have come out of my reading slump though. I've come out in full force. I've been reading a book nearly every 2 to 3 days. At the moment I'm in a readathon, so I've actually read 2 books today. Two books today. Oh my god, that would be amazing. No, I read 2 books in 2 days. So there's that, but hopefully I'll be able to get through a fair few of these. I have 2 audiobooks and a graphic novel on there, but that is it. So wish me luck. Wish me a lot of. But yeah, that is it for this video. If you're participating in the OWLs ReadAthon, let me know down below what career you are planning on going for and what books you're reading for those subjects, and also any other books you plan to read in April. But that is it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.